Hello and welcome to Addis News Hour. I'm Daniel Kasahun with the news. The Ethiopian government says it has been playing a constructive role in facilitating the smooth movement of humanitarian trucks along the Afar route to address the humanitarian needs of the Tigray region. The government doubts WHO's Director General complaint unacceptable and politically motivated in this regard. Haftam Shagri has more.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia issued a statement Thursday that some 20 trucks loaded with food items and 3 trucks carrying fuel truckers have started moving from Samara to Mekelle on March 17, 2022. The number of trucks heading to Tigray on a daily basis will soon be 40 to maximize humanitarian reach and address basic needs in the region. Talking to ENA, Commissioner of Disaster Risk Management Commission, Mitiku Kasa said complaint presented by World Health Organization is unaccepted.
ማርች 11 2022 ነው ድጋፍ እንዲሰጠኝ የሚል ደብዳቤ ጻፈ ጤና ሚኒስቴር ደግሞ
The World Health Organization has written the supportive letter to Ethiopia on March 11, 2022 seeking permission to pass medical assistance to Tigray. Then the Ministry of Health checked all humanitarian loaded trucks and written a responsive letter to our commission on 14th March 2022. So the World Health Organization country office writes a letter to get a letter of approval to the commission on 15th March 2022. The Commission thus wrote approval later that morning.
መነሻ በማድረግ ለኛ ማርች 15
In addition, 17 humanitarian partners got approval to transport medicine, including vaccine medicine items and nutrition supplies, to Tigray region as of March 16, 2022. In conformity with the daily update on the cargo airlift from Addis Ababa to Mekelle, more than 11 partners have transported 257,192 kilograms of medicine items and nutrition supplies. To put the record straight, it has remained apparent that it was due to renewed attacks in Afar that more than 700,000 people have been displaced and the humanitarian aid route to Tigray via Abala had been blocked. It's also to be recalled that the attacks have been escalated to 5 districts of the Kelbeti Resu zone of the Afar regional state and displaced more than 300,000 people. It needed to be noticed that 43 trucks loaded with food items were also kept stranded at Sardo, 38 kilometers away from Samara. However, apart from the rigorous efforts and decisions made today, the government of Ethiopia once again reiterates its commitment to address the humanitarian needs to the Tigray regions through creating and maximizing conducive working environment for all partners and boosting inland and air transport to the region.
politically motivated የሆነ የሀገርን ገጽታ ከማጠልሸት ያለፈ
The World Health Organization WHO complaint is unacceptable and politically motivated. This complaint undermines the image of the country. We are providing all the necessary documents based on the request that we had from the WHO country office timely. Thus, after the WHO request, we have provided approval later within 2 days on 17th March 2022.
Ethiopian government, however, believes that no strings should be attached in protecting the rights and satisfying the humanitarian needs of our people and expects a similar commitment from all actors to let aid keep on flowing to the people. This statement also suggests the international community to put adequate weight on the matter to sufficiently address relevant and politically motivated concerns from WHO.
President Sahle-Work Zewde bids farewell to the outgoing ambassador of Saudi Arabia in Ethiopia, Sami Jamil Abdullah. On the occasion, the two discussed issues of Ethiopians in Saudi Arabia, the preservation of their dignity, the repatriation plan to be rolled out soon by the Ethiopian government, among others. The president thanked the ambassador for his contribution to enhance bilateral relationship between the two countries during his tenure in Ethiopia. Algeria is working to further enhance its friendly and brotherly relationship with Ethiopia in various fields. In an exclusive interview with the Ethiopian news agency, Algerian ambassador to Ethiopia, Lamdi Sall said his country is keen to further strengthen the bilateral and multifaceted cooperation in different sectors. The ambassador stressed that the two countries must connect themselves with infrastructures, including air transportation, so as to facilitate the movement of business people of the nation. Jerusalem Betza has more.
Ethiopia and Algeria have enjoyed long-standing relations for many years, and they have steadily been strengthening their relationship based on shared interests. In an exclusive interview with Ethiopian news agency, Algerian ambassador to Ethiopia, Alhamdi Salah, said his country is keen to further strengthen the bilateral and multifaceted cooperation in different sectors. Algeria opened its embassy in Addis Ababa in 1976, and Ethiopia opened its embassy in Algiers in 2016, which the ambassador said crucial to establish a strong and amicable relation and translate it to people-to-people relation.
We enjoy very, very important and very friendly, very brotherly relationships with Ethiopia since our independence in 1962, but even before. When we were on fight, when we were struggling for our independence, we found Ethiopia standing up with us, and we never forget this. And from that time, we start to have a very, very important and very brotherly relationship. And we are working to build up on this and to make those relations better and better in all fields.
However, the current trade and investment relation of the two countries is not encouraging, the ambassador said, stressing the need to improve the sectors in the future, as there are opportunities to realize that. The two countries have been working to sign agreement in order to commence flights between the countries to allow their business persons to travel and know each other and start dealing and enhance trade relations between the countries. Trade, industry and agriculture are among the potential areas that the two countries can enhance their existing bilateral ties, according to the ambassador.
We create in 2014 a joint committee, a bilateral joint committee, which is in charge to develop the relations in the field of trade, development, industry, culture, and all fields. And we'll have the fourth session of that bilateral committee, joint committee, during that year, and during which we'll sign a certain number of memorandum of understanding between the two countries to increase and to develop and to achieve some goals of our common positions and our common desire to build a very, very important partnership between our two countries.
Algerian investors have been showing interest to work in Ethiopia, the ambassador said, adding that some are conducting visits to see possibility to invest in the country. Algeria is one of the key strategic partners of Ethiopia. So far, the two countries have signed more than 20 cooperation agreements in different fields, including trade, investment, protection and promotion, avoidance of double taxation. The two countries have also been working together concerning regional and international agendas, particularly in the fight against terrorism, as it is one of the most serious threats to international peace and security.
The Ministry of Women and Social Affairs calls on banks to discharge their social responsibilities supporting women endeavors to economically self-sufficient. This remark came while Zamzam Bank launched its first ever all-women-led interest-free banking service. Kusumal says more.
Zamzam Bank, an interest-free banking service, has officially inaugurated all-women-operated Hajra branch. Attending the inaugural ceremony, Minister of Women and Social Affairs Ergoge Tesfaye called on financial institutions to discharge responsibilities by supporting women's endeavors to economically self-sufficient.
In addition to its financial services, banks should discharge their responsibility by supporting women's economic self-sufficient efforts. There are many women who suffered a lot from economic drawbacks in different urban and rural areas. I call upon financial institutions to support women.
Recalling the huge share of women in Zamzam Bank, President of the bank, Melika Badri, said Zamzam Bank is providing various services to ensure women's economic beneficiary and saving alternatives.
Our bank strongly believes that empowering women is a way to changing the entire family, community, as well as country at large. We set up Mudaraba Investment and Wadia Saving Alternatives to enhance women's saving culture. We also have made the operational Zamzam Women's Electronics System to have service accessible.
Accordingly, Zamzam Bank is said to be open not only for Muslims but also for the faithful of other religions who can abide by the Sharia law.
The Ministry of Finance discussed with heads of agencies of Development Partners Group on the reconstruction and recovery plan for the conflict-affected regions. The ministry presented government's framework for reconstruction and recovery plan of the conflict-affected regions, namely Amhara, Afar, Tigray, Benshangul, and part of Oromia, to the head of agencies of the Development Partner Group. Finance Minister Ahmed Shide emphasized the significance of the framework to revitalize the livelihood and address humanitarian crisis in the mentioned regional states. The minister explained about the government-led joint framework for reconstruction and recovery plan being supported with the technical engagement of key experts from the development partners. Accordingly, representatives of the Development Partner Group welcomed the initiative taken by the government in preparation for such an ambitious recovery plan. Now let's have the foreign exchange less figures. Let's take it, please.
Welcome to Freetown. My name is Lansana Mansare, commonly called Bami Boy. I am a filmmaker. I am based in Freetown. I run a media collective called the Freetown Media Center. Freetown is my home.
The capital and largest city of Sierra Leone, Freetown, is a major port city along the coastline of the Atlantic Ocean. Around 1 million people call this city home.
In Freetown, you find different people from more than 12 ethnic groups that we have all living in this space.
The area around Freetown was settled in 1787 by freed slaves. It became a melting pot for liberated African and Caribbean settlers. The cotton tree in the city center reflects Freetown's unique history.
After the abolition of slavery, freed slaves from the Nova Scotia settled here, what we now know as Freetown, and that cotton tree right there was the place where, they had their services.
Freetown is Sierra Leone's financial hub. The city's economy revolves largely around its natural harbor, Deep Water Quay, the biggest in Africa. Since making the switch to a filmmaking career, Lansana Mansare's new workplace looks very different. One of his documentaries, a film about the Ebola outbreak in Sierra Leone, was nominated for an Emmy Award in 2019. It was the first ever West African film to receive this accolade.
Here is my studio. I work from here. I spend a lot of time here working. From morning sometimes to night, I'm just editing, films and recording sound also. So I spend a lot of time in here.
Lansana Mansaray is certain he will never run out of stories in a city like Freetown.
Much love from Freetown.
Moving to the news from across the continent, first from Sudan. The Central Bank of Sudan devalued the Sudanese pound last week in a bid to control black market activity, but some economists have criticized that plan. Sudan also depends on wheat and oil imports from Russia. Actors in the field say Russia's ongoing military action in Ukraine is expected to exacerbate Sudan's economic vulnerability.